recording as well. Great. So today we are going to understand ITGC, Information Technology General Controls, right? And this is very, very important because whenever you apply for GRC profile, audit profile, this particular concept or thing is same or common in most of the profile. Let's check for ITGC, right? ITGC job. So if you go for ITGC jobs, right, you'll find lots of job in ITGC, right? ITGC audit jobs and vacancies. So if you go to indeed.com, see risk ITGC audit, right? So specialist IT audit, and if you go into the profile, you'll find ITGC skills, ITGC audit skills, control testing, right? So actually, one thing that is coming in your mind, what is ITGC, right? So see, ITGC, Information Technology General Control, there are lots of vacancy in ITGC. Even if you are not getting see analyst, ITA campus, ITGC audit and all, this is common, right? And this is common, and this is very, you can say, basic thing in cybersecurity audits and assurance. So let's talk about ITGC. So ITGC stands for Information Technology General Controls. So IT, you both are aware about IT, information technology, right? Technology which is dealing with technical things and computer world, right? And general controls mean general controls, which are the minimum requirement, right? Whatever is minimum requirement, whatever we need at minimum level, right? Suppose, let's say, for example, suppose you have your mobile phone, right? So for your mobile, sorry, let's take another example. You have your laptop, right? So consider your laptop is IT technology, right? Your laptop is coming under information technology, right? Now, things for the general controls, what are the minimum requirement you must be having, right? Minimum, you can say, safety or minimum checks, right? You must be having to make your data or your computer secure. So in our home computer, what we have antiviruses, right? At least at minimum level. Or if we talk about mobile phone also, we have antiviruses and screen lock, right? Password and all. So these are some minimum requirements. Similarly, in information technology, we have some general controls and minimum requirement that you must be having for making your data secure, right? Now coming to ITGC general controls. One second. Yeah.
This
See,
comes under audit part, Aman.
yeah, audit part. Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So see, but yeah, so whatever you see in cybersecurity audit, risk assessment, everything, like you can say, related to each other, right? If you prepare for ITGC, you can also be comfortable in, you can say, ISO audit, ISO 27001 audit, and risk assessment, because these are the minimum things we require, right? If you are looking for risk assessment, right, finding risk and not vulnerability, risk management profile, if you are working a risk management profile, and if you have good understanding of ITGC control, and you got one project where you need to find out the risk which your system can have, right? So like, these are the minimum control we must be having in our system. You can easily find out that we do not have that control. That means, suppose you do not have antivirus, right? That is, if you do not have antivirus, so that may bring some kind of malware in the system, right? Some kind of unauthentic softwares installation, something like that. So so if you prepare for one profile or one particular, you can say, compliance, or one particular domain, that will gonna help you to work on different domain. All the things are same, right? Just like so one is the left hand and one is right hand, right? So just name it different, and most of the thing, 90% things are same. Now coming to ITGC control ITGC, and see, and most of the companies, even if you're working in finance, purchasing, research, patent, inventory, payload, everywhere we are having IT environment, right? IT, computer system, servers, computer, and each and everything, right? Our company is dependent upon IT system, right? We cannot rely on IT system or data there, and without effective ITGC general control, if something happened to your system, it may bring some kind of loss to the company, right? Reputational loss, business loss, right? So coming to why are ITGC controls important in if we talk about financial objective, right? Financial, that is completeness, accuracy, validity, and authorization, right? And if our goals are related to IT objective, CIA, confidentiality, integrity, availability, and effectiveness and efficiency, right? CIA, you all are aware CIA, right? And coming to that financial objective, so if we have good control, right, that means, let's say for example, integrity check, right? Integrity check that will help you to find out the accuracy and validity, right? So each and everything is connected here. So if for both the aspects, we require some general controls for our effective operation, right? In effective IDGC, if we do not have good effective controls, security controls, or some general controls related to IT field, may bring no achievement of business objective, right? So see, consider when you are working somewhere, just think, not think only about the cyber security. Your main objective is like how you value to the business, right? You are working for business. Business is cyber security है, cyber security के लिए business नहीं है, right? For any company, their first and main objective is to earn money, right? To sell product, whatever in the field they are working, is their first and most important priority thing, right? For the security, for the effectiveness, they require certain support, right? For the support, we are taking care of, we are using some general IT infrastructure. For their security, for availability, for continuity, we require the minimum security, right, controls. So accordingly, you have business, for protection for that business, we require cyber security, right? So even if you are in cybersecurity domain, just think and give your answer in such a way that how you can add value to the business. Because nowadays most of the students who are looking job in cybersecurity, yeah, they are just technical either, or they just know their skill. Like if they are looking for job ITGC, they know ITGC. If they are looking for job pen testing, they know web application and pen testing and all. They have no understanding, and they have no, like, say, you can say, attachment to the business. Whenever you prepared, whenever you go for any interview, just think about the business, how you can add value to the business, and frame your answer in that manner, right? Not only for the technical part, just for not frame answer just only taking technical part. Frame your answer with taking business part, and just like for the business we require that thing, you can frame that thing, right? Now coming to types of control, how are controls implemented. So we also discussed that thing previously: automated controls, manual control, and partially automated controls. So these are self-explanatory. What are automated controls, what are manual controls? Now, what are controls for preventive, detective, corrective? We also discussed these control: preventive, which can prevent any disaster, right? So can you give any example of preventive control, any preventive control? No,
IDS, IPS.
no one. IDS, IPS. So IDS, IPS is like which is preventing on which is, suppose there are two, right? IDS and IPS. Both are different, right? Nowadays they are in a same
Okay,
tool,
yes, yes.
but
IPS
IDS is
is
different. IPS is different.
IPS is
One
preventive
is for
control.
preventive, which one is for, yeah, correct. IPS is preventive control, and IDS is for detective control. IDS will identify any problem in the any malware, right? Any problem in the system. And what is corrective control? Give any example of corrective control. No one. Just think like, suppose you have your mobile phone, right? And you took backup, right? You took backup, let's say yesterday and today, because of some problem, some accident, because of some misconfiguration, or while installing any application, you deleted everything, every data, right? So now, for the correction part, you already had taken your backup, right? So you have an opportunity to utilize, to leverage that backup, right? So that is corrective control, which can correct, right, which can correct the wrong thing. So backup can be one example for corrective controls. Now coming to ITGC review and audit process, right? So how any auditor will go for ITGC audit and how he will proceed. So very first, understand and identify the IT environment and system to be reviewed. That is not only related to ITGC but for all the audit part, right? If you are going for any audit, very first you need to understand the scope, right? Understand the environment, right? You audit karna hai. Very first, suppose if you are doctor, right? If you go to any doctor, if you are not well, you are ill, right? If you go to any doctor, what doctor will do? He will do checkup, right? He will do complete checkup. He will check your temperature, your senses, and your eyes and all, right? So accordingly he will identify the problem in your body, right? Your the main reason for illness. Same we apply in audit process as well. So very first we need to understand the complete environment, right? So identify the IT environment, how many systems are there, right? Suppose 40 system, okay, how many systems are using operating system from Windows and how many are using Linux, right? And how many employees having work from home, right? Opportunity they are working from home. So understand the complete IT environment. Then perform interview, walkthrough, and documentation review to gain an understanding on process, right? See, it's not like my company is better than you because we have some different process, we have good process, right? So process is not you can say same in all the company. Might be possible my company follow different process, might be possible your company having a different process. So it's again depending upon company to company how they proceed. So let's say for example for new hiring, right? For new hiring in my company, first the HR will call the person and he will ask the when you will be available, and accordingly for before meeting HR again will ask the person to share the updated resume. Then during meeting HR will the meeting person HR will ask the person to open your camera, right? So that they can click the image, right? For their safety and for the next time, so they might have like a surety like the same person had given interview, so they might have taken your picture and then you proceed for your interview. That is one scenario. Now coming to company B, right? So they what they do, they just take first interview. They have two interview, right? Previously one company A just take one interview and company B they take two interviews. So for the first interview you will be having telephonic round. So HR will ask you from during that interview some basic questions, right? No technical person will be required, and for this second interview they will be having teams meeting. So both follow different process. So it's not like my process is good, your process is bad. As per their convenience, as per their experience, they have developed their process, right? So in different companies we have different process, right? So what you need to do just for reviewing IT control, just interview, right? Interview the application owners, interview the system owners, right? Like how do you manage that control, how do you manage that thing and all. Walkthrough means just review, right? If you have server, just review where it is kept, right? How do we have physical security is locked, are working or not, EC is working or not in the server room, right? And documentation review. So for each process, for each system, we have certain kind of document, right? Let's say for example new hiring, right? New hiring process. So for that we have a documented process. Another can be let's say for example uh, mm, taking or granting access to a certain server, right? So for that we might be having one document. Another can be for troubleshooting one particular software. For that we might have another document, right? So for each and every process we have document in our company, right? And also we have SOP, right? Standard operation procedure, right? SOP means standard operation procedure. That means the step by step guidance procedure. Let's say for example uh, if you go for ITGC control, so in company they have SOP for ITGC, SOP for ITGC audit, right? ITGC audit. So what SOP will tell you, this standard operation procedure. So it will contain some normal instructions and steps like step one, step two, step three, right? So and then we have policies and processes document, right? We have lots of things. So review those things, right? Review those things accordingly. Then access appropriateness and existing control environment, right? Control design. So now next step can be you have now you have gained lots of information, right? You identified the IT infrastructure, okay, they are having two server, one server kept at Mumbai, another server kept at Chennai, and they have 40 employees, and among 40, 20 are working from home, right? You have understanding about the computers. They have a Dell computer which is using 40 computers are using Windows, and rest are using Linux version, right? You have lots of information. You also have gone through some documents, like, okay, for the work from home scenario, they are not using any kind of VPN, right? A VPN is missing in that overall process, right? If any employee wants to access in the corporate environment or wants to access any data, they are not using any VPN, right? Let's say, for example. And another can be like for the for security, in all the company, our laptop must be having that password protected security, right? So if company is not using that password protected security in the laptop is not having any kind of password. So you also find out, like two or three, like department, they are not having password in their laptop, right? And those who are having password in their laptop, their password is less than, let's say, 8 character, right? Less than 8 character password. Now you got lots of information. Just review, right? Review those information. For the review, you must be having some good understanding in IT environment, in cybersecurity. So just review, and like if for better security, we must be having password more than 8 character. And that must be having combination of characteristic, different characteristic, like special character and an alphanumeric and all, right? Combination of different characters. So company is not using that thing. Company is not using VPN, right? You know those things. So accordingly, you know the problem in the system, right? So validate. So you know the problem, and also validate existing control to assess control operating effectiveness. So validate means, here, existing control, they are using password, but password is less than, let's say, 6. The password they are using 6 character, and which is again normal, like Aman, right? Aman, without any special character, right? Aman, I can put my password less than 6 character, and it's not require me to use any special character, right? And also I can use repetitive password, like a repetitive character A, right? I can also use. So you find out the problem in the existing control, right? Effectiveness, this is not effective control, right? You find out the ineffectiveness, right? Ineffectiveness. Now, one second. ITGC review, right? So just for example, review to access to program and data, right? Overview access to program and data. So it's just one example. So access to program and data, program change, program development, and computer operation risk. Unauthorized access to program and data may result in improper changes to data, right? If there is any kind of problem in, like in the access management, right? So this can be the risk, right? Objective: access to program and data is properly restricted to authorized individuals only, right? So here, for this particular, let's say, for example, consider this thing as one domain, right? One domain or one section, right? So access management, the section name is access management, just for understanding. And if we do not have good controls, access related control, so this can be the risk. And here our objective is this, right? This is our objective. So for that, right, access to program and data component to be considered, right? So let's say, for example, in one company there are different process, right? For access management, very first they have some kind of program changes, like change management process, right? If you're working somewhere, you must have heard about change management process. Program development process, right? How program is being developed, what are the overall process. So there are different process. So for access management, right, to find out the weakness in the access, so we review different things, policies and procedure, right? User access provisioning and deprovisioning. Do you know what is user access provisioning and deprovisioning? No? Okay, this is your homework. I'll ask you not tomorrow, after class, right? After class, I'll give 2 hours, right? And night time, I'll ask you what is user access provisioning and deprovisioning, right? Very easy concepts. then periodic access review, right? So there must be some periodic access review. Let's say for example, in company A, right, they do not review their users, right? How many users they have, they do not review means just find out how many users are there, active users, and how many users are using which program, like which system, and like what kind of access they were provided, like support access or admin access, or what kind of access do they have, right? So just review those users. So there must be like a quarterly basis or half yearly basis, they must be having some kind of review. Password requirement, right? Privileged user account, like if there are any privileged user account, so is there any kind of monitoring on that account, right? Is it shareable account, right? Suppose in real scenario, there must not be having any kind of you can say universal or generic password, right? Generic name, like let's say for example system, right? System admin, right? System admin. So we do not recommend that you in your system or in your company you must be having that generic name, right? So there must be naming convention in such a way that the with the system, with the account name, the person must be identified. So system admin is not a good, you can say, strategy to follow. So again, privilege management, privilege account management, encryption system, authentication, audit log. So these are different domains in cybersecurity, right? Segregation of duty. Do you know what is segregation of duties? Anyone? No? Write this
like
thing. Yeah.
dividing your what you call access. Like system admin will have this work, and network admin will have network access.
Okay, okay, yeah, correct. But during interview, you need to explain such a way. Whatever you are saying is correct, 100%, right? 100%. But consider that the person whom you are telling is not from technical background, right? And he is not aware of what is system access, what is a network access, and admin access. He is not aware, right? So you might have to tell them the segregation duties means the access must be divided in such a way that the person only got access to the system which are required for their job, है ना? Right? If I am not wrong,
Yes, yes.
whatever system we are required for our day-to-day operation, we must be having access to only those system, only those data. Let's say, for example, you just told. Let's say another example can be marketing data, right? Marketing data. So for marketing team, it's good to have marketing data because they are doing some research and all in marketing part, right? But let's say for example our development team, right, or troubleshooting support team, if they have access to marketing data, there's data, particular data is stored in Google Drive, and they also have access to that particular Google Drive. So it's not required, right? It's not required. Again, coming to your example, admin access, right? Admin access. So admin access, suppose there is uh, let's say one website or one system application, web application or any application where there are multiple profile. You can say one is admin profile, right? And another can be user profile, right? User profile. So admin can modify user, can add new user, update and anything. He can do everything. Coming to user profile, right? Again, user can be different type. Let's say for example editor, right? Editor, one user, right? And SEO expert, if it's related to any you can say digital marketing or any website. So SEO expert, right? So SEO expert must be having access to SEO related plugins and SEO related scripts only, right? He must not having access to editors related things, right? So again, whatever things we require for our day to day operation, we only have access to that information, right? So that is segregation of duties. So manager, right, then employee. So manager have access to the things which he require, and employee do not have must not be having access to the those information which manager having access, right? Because that's not his concern, that's not his day-to-day duty. Now encryption system, authentication, audit logs, network. So there are different controls and environment. Now let's say just for example user access provisioning, right? If formal process for granting and modifying system access, right, is in place, right? Review and evidence to approval of approval. So if we are checking for user access provisioning and deprovisioning, right? So just I ask you to study. So for user access provisioning in our phone process is there, right? According to this process, granting a modified system access, they have some kind of process in place. So what we need to do, we need to review, right? We need to review the process, we need to review the evidence, right? So what can be the evidence like suppose there is a process, access process. So let's say yeah, that is one particular system, right? One system, right? So for getting access to this system, right, what is the process placed, or what process is placed in that particular company, and that system related to HR, right? HR, whatever data here is HR related information. So if there is employee A, right, he wants access to that system for their day-to-day job, right? So what he can do, first he will raise one request, right? He will raise one request. So the request can be raised through manual process or through some kind of a centralized process like sales force or service now. You might have heard about service now, that is very common tool in most of the companies, right? So accordingly, so in most of the banking sector, like I worked on SBI bank, right? So SBI Bank, they have manual process. So first they need to complete one paper form, right? Manual form. They need to fill details on that form. So as per the company, it's again depend. Both are good, right? It's not necessary if they are using paper form, so it's not good, right? It's not necessary. Just process must be completed. So they may like request access through the form or through the portal like service now portal, just where he need to fill their detail and what system he wants to access and the business justification why he wants to access that particular system. Then that then that particular request will be you can say routed to the to his manager, right? Routed no, to his manager, routed to the head of the HR department, right? This process will be routed to the head of HR department, right? Not his manager, head of HR department, and he will grant or revoke, or he will grant or reject the permission accordingly, right? So suppose that is normal process here. Now we have to review the process, right? Review the document, whatever document they have, process document or whatever evidence means that particular form, right, where he is filling. So it can be in a paper form, right, or it can be stored in the system like these are the requests, right? Some kind of request ticketing system, you might have heard about ticket and all requests. So okay, so request 001 and 002, so some kind of naming convention. So just review those requests, what justification he provided, how for how many days he is having access and all, review, right? So now after reviewing, we concluded, okay, the process is good, right? But there is one problem in this particular process, right? Whatever I just told you, there is a problem, right? There is a problem. They have process, they have good process, they have document evidence, document everything, right? And but there is one problem. What problem is that suppose the access access that thing access granting thing goes to the head of HR department, right? Suppose if head of HR department wants certain kind of access to the system, right? Certain kind of information in the system. For that he raised the request, right? He raised the request, and that request again coming to him, right? Again coming to him, and he again accept, right, or grant the request, because he is the head of department and he is getting all the requests, right, routed to him. So simply he is not required to fill that form correctly, right? He can left that particular field, right, justification, business justification field blank, right? And he got the request, he just approved the request, and he can get access, right? So after, suppose after few days or after few years, if something happened to the system, so the investigation team will come and will review all the documents, all the access permission document, right? So they will also review the document, and they will find out that the documents is incomplete, right? Document is incomplete. And also might be happen that he is that person, right? He did some kind of fraud to the company, but like he just ask for the permission, and he is the same person who grant the permission, right? So as per the cybersecurity best practice, permission should be, there are maker and checker formula, right? Maker and checker. So the reviewer or creator must be different than the approval, right? So he must be, if you create any, let's say for example any software industry, right? Let's say you just created any kind of tool, right? Any software. So you are creator, right? Maker, you are maker of that tool. You just did some kind of coding. And now coming to the testing part, right? Now tester should be different, right? It's not like you created and you can also review, you can also test that field, right? If you test that field, you will pass, right? You will pass that system. Why? Because no one can judge himself, right? No one can find out the problem weakness in our work, right? So if you create any software while doing any kind of coding, right? And if you get chance to review, to test that particular application, so what you will do, you will tell, you will think, okay, I did all the coding, so I know I'm the best, so nothing can go wrong. You just pass, right? You haven't do any kind of research, you haven't done any kind of research, and you haven't worked on the testing part. You just passed that particular system, right? Without doing actual testing. So there must be different tester, right? So maker and checker. So checker must be different person, right? So accordingly here, the you can say access permission grantor must be different, differ than the head of the department. So in the real scenario, what happened, if you raise any request, that request will be forwarded to your manager, to your supervisor, right? It's not it should be headed to the head of the any particular, you can say, department. That request must be routed to your supervisor. So accordingly, if hr head wants to get access to the system, what he'll do, he will request, and that request will be routed to his head, right? His head can be the CEO of the company. Company is small, right? So might be possible he is directly reporting to CEO, right? And might be possible there are some other person. So whosoever is here, his senior person will get the request, and he will approve or reject accordingly, right? So that's the normal process. So yeah, you need to find out the problem in the process, the weakness in the problem, right? Weakness in the process, and review the evidence and everything. And now coming to another, provisioning, deprovisioning, compare existing user control with a list of users, right? So these are some general example for a reference, right? If you go for any kind of work. So access password rule, and for password requirement, unique to individual and strong password are used, right? So you find out the existing control. What are the existing controls? Existing controls can be, okay, this is unique and strong password are used, okay, great. And how to test, how you can test access password rules, right? Unique, okay, but you need to test. So for that, you find out the, if they are following the rule or not, right? Rule can be like a minimum 8 character with a special character, right? That can be rule. Physical access, only authorized persons are allowed to access secure areas and computer facility, okay, great. They have good security control, right? So we got existing control, this is existing control. And how we can test? Walkthrough of areas, right? Go to that physical place, go to that particular server room or whatever is there, go to that area and find out, right? Find out if they are having good control, if the AC is working, if the locks are working, right? So find out if there are security guards sitting there or not, right? So that's how you will follow. Now coming to another example, right? Program change and program development, right? So for that, these are the things you must be taking care. And accordingly, here, change management control, formal process for proper change management is in place, right? So yeah, existing control, they have proper change management process. So what is change management process? Actually, let me explain one example here. Suppose your company is working on any particular, let's say, yeah, software, right? Software or any kind of tool, right? Tool software, let's say for example any tool, right? You are working on ABC tool, right? Now you now after few days you just get to know, like, XYG, right? XYG, they are better than ABC. This software is better than ABC, and they are providing software at less cost, right? So what you can do, both are same, right? No dependency, like, so one thing can be you just install the software, right, from the server application, install that thing, and right, that's not the actual process in the enterprise or company. There must be change management, right? So for that you will be requesting your problem, your concern through the portal or through the change management document, whatever you might have, right? If you go to any bank, like SBI bank, so they have physical, you can say, form, right, where you need to fill. But for rest of the companies or rest of the organization, they have service now kind of thing, right? That portal, so just go to that particular URL or web portal, fill the problem, or fill whatever you want. Just that thing will go to different department, right? Different department. Why? First, that thing will go to the head of that particular server, right? Not head, the, you can say, asset owner, right? Asset owner means who is responsible for maintaining of that particular server or thing. So he will check, okay, nothing can happen if we go with this particular, okay, he will grant, right? Then it will go to, let's say, for example, software team, right? Software team will also involve. Why? Because might be possible they have certain kind of dependencies, right? Certain kind of dependencies, right? Let's say, for example, when you install that particular tool, right? When you when you uninstall that particular tool, and again you need to install that tool, it will gonna take around, let's say, 10 hours, right? 10 hours, right? 10 hours complete, right? 10 hours time you require to uninstall, install, and all the configuration. And because of that, you can say, changes, might be possible that it may affect your server and your uptime, right? So might be possible your website, right, your website must not be available for that time, maintenance time, right? So first we need to take approval from other department also, if it's okay if our website is not available for that time, right? So they will check if and if they do not have any problem, they will say, okay, yeah, they will tick, okay, yeah, great. And otherwise they will ask you to during night time, right? Because the user is very less during night time. So in most of the companies, they do such kind of updation and maintenance part during night. So they will ask that thing, right? So accordingly, there are multiple, you can say, controls and multiple processes in the company. So review, access, change management procedure, and validate the procedures are followed, right? Review, you have process, just review. You have that document, right? You have approval document, everything, right? It may be e-form, in the e-form, it may be in the physical form, so you just need to review, okay. In the past, let's say, for example, 10 system got new operating system, right? They just shifted from Linux to Windows 10, right? Linux to Windows 10. So you must be having 10 form, right? 10 form related to that process, and just you find out, okay, all they have maintained all the forms and all. So that's how we follow. Then there are different use cases here, right? So just you need to find different. One example can be computer operations. So for that, computer operation component, so these are some normal component that can be considered in that thing. So disaster recovery and DRP, which is again very important. So for that disaster recovery, what we have, let's say, backup and recovery, right? Backups for critical data and programs are available in the event of an emergency, right? Let's say, for example, you have your website, right? So is there any process for taking backup of your website after every, let's say, every day or every week, right? It's again depend upon the company requirement. If they are doing job each and every day, so they must be having backup in each and every hour, right? So for banking website, for banking application, banking system, their backup system must be, mirror kind of backup. Like if you update anything in the main production, so that thing should be updated in the backup real time, right? But let's say, for example, Cyber Academy, right? Cyber Academy. So I do not update or upload any new lectures regularly, right? Yeah. So accordingly, whenever I, I can take backup on monthly basis. So it's again depending upon this requirement, right? So first we need to find out, okay, they have a normal backup process, okay, review the backup and recovery, right? So we need to then review last time when you did backup, right? We need to review all the backup document, okay, the last time they did backup on that thing, right? And when they tested your that backup procedure, when they tested recovery procedure and everything, right? So we need to review each and everything here, right? So so far any question in the system, in the process? No. Okay, great. So one second, let me show you one document which might be helpful for you. Oh, where it is? Yep, got it. One second. Mhm. Yeah. Okay. So this is just sample document, right? But this is sample document but very descriptive. So suppose you are auditor, right? If you go for IDGC testing, right, IDGC control testing, so what kind of consider this document as a checklist, right? So they this particular document have different you can say areas, right? Areas which need to be checked, right? Let's say for example, one is logical access, right? Logical access, program change control, then backup and recovery, right? Different domain, disaster recovery plan, right? Different domains which needs to be checked. Now, yeah, coming to first logical access, right? So for logical access, what you can check, does the university maintain written policies or procedure, university or company, whatever you have, right? So just taking example of one university, right? So I am checking ITGC control of a university. So if they have any written policy or procedure related to the security controls, right, or access to the system, so you just need to check if they have policy, yes, no, not available, right? Remark on any note, whatever you found, right? Are only those with the legitimate needing or obtain document listing all individuals with access this physical security. One second, where is logical security? Yeah, okay. So determine the type of control that are in place over the issuance, maintenance, and termination of password. Right. So we just identified all the controls. Yes, no, not available. Remark anything we have. Right. If they are having unique password, right? Inform employees of proper password security through training. Okay. Now we need to check if they have any security training and maintenance program or not. If you're working somewhere, right? Even if you are in a small company or big company, in most of the company they have certain kind of training, right? So, or at least they have document, right? So during the hiring time, right, when you joined any company, they will be you will be having some kind of training, right, where they will tell some general things related to security, right? So just check if they have any kind of training, yearly training, or during the employment is there any training which told their employee to use good password security, good password, right? Yes, no, not available. If any document evidence they have shared, right? If they have shared any document, okay, these many employee have gone through the training, okay, so just put the that document reference, say okay, we got the document and that is available in that particular thing, okay. Unique password, if all the employees having unique password or not, is there any policy to enforce a unique password, right? If their policy to change their password on periodic basis, right? Suppose in most of the company they having policy to change their password on after every 60 days, right? So once if you keep your password, let's say for example aman123, right? So after 60 days you need to again when you log in into your system will ask you to change your password, and once you change your password then only you can log in into your system. So there must be any kind of policy procedure must be there to change your password, right, on periodic basis. Okay, yes, we got the procedure, okay. Their procedure to here we can write their procedure to change their password in after every 60 days, right? You can write here. So accordingly, so this is one you can say template, that if you go for any ITGS control, ask me, I'll give you that template. This is one template. Just use that template, and this is you can say descriptive, right? Actual template. This is not a dummy template, this is actual template, right? If you are going for any ITGC audit, right, you can use that particular template, right? So everything is here. Use that template as like a checklist, right? So everything you do not need to remember, right, in audit assurance and all these things, yes. Suppose it's very difficult for a human mind to remember to recall each and everything. For that we use a checklist, right? Even in ISO audit and everywhere we use checklist and template. So this is one kind of template, you can say checklist. So when suppose I'm going audit for, let's say, ABC company, right? So what I'll do, I'll go there, right? I'll just change it. That's the ABC company name. I'll put the ABC company name here, right? And I'll change accordingly. I will modify the template accordingly, right? If I find more, you can say, scope, right, which I haven't added here, I can also write new questions here, right? If suppose if some of the questions are not applicable to that company, right, so I can remove from here, right? So I can update accordingly, right? I'll share that template soon. Now, so far, any questions related to ITGC? I would suggest you to go over ITGC, right? Because you'll find lots of vacancy whenever you apply for any kind of audit work or something related to the ITGC, right? Either they will ask you ITGC, ISO, ITGC, or risk management, right? These three things are very very important. ISO 27001, risk management, and ITGC, right? So start learning these concepts.
So these three are
No
different
questions so
job
far.
roles. Aman,
What?
like these three roles are
Okay.
different. Like ISO auditor is
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
general control
Yeah. Yeah.
different, and risk
Yeah.
management is.
Yeah. These three roles are different, but the thing here, all the things, audit and assurance, everything is related to each other, right? If I have shared you ITGC controls, right? After a few minutes, we will be also going over the ISO controls, right? So you might have come up understand like ITGC and ISO, right? 90% or 80% controls are same, right? In risk management also some of the things are same. So both the things are same, right? So what like it's not like you, if they will hire you, you will be only working with ISO team or ISO audit, right? You will be only working for ITGC, right? They need understanding of ITGC. What is under ITGC? They need understanding. You must be having understanding of ISO. What is ISO, right? Understanding means why, what, and how, right? Why we need ISO, what things we need in ISO, right? And how we can achieve ISO, right? Only that thing they require you, because so far you haven't done any kind of ISO audit. They know, right? They know that fact. Just you must be having knowledge of what, right? Why and how. What is ISO or ITGC, right? What, how, why we need that thing, and how we can implement that thing, right? So just think. So so whenever you are looking for any job now, you go to any description. Let's say, for example, let's open one description here, right? So uh somewhere ITGC, did you find somewhere in ITGC? Yeah, open this one. Wells Fargo. Okay, so see, risk management, knowledge of understanding of risk management, right? Audit operation, and somewhere they have also right, somewhere ITGC, right? Yeah, testing risk, senior ITGC, technology risk, right? So ITGC understanding must be there. Then IT system security, business process management, audit, right? You must be having understanding those things. ISO, right? ISO, NIST, ISO. Like ISO is one framework, NIST is another framework. They're different framework, but yeah, most of the things are same in all the framework. If you do, you know what is NIST? NIST document. NIST is National Institute of Standard and Technology. They also provide certain documents, right? Certain framework to different you can say domains. So let's go for cybersecurity. For cybersecurity domain, they have also provided very good framework. Like for suppose, let's say, for example, you just started your company and you require some document which can help you to to put minimum efforts, right? To put the minimum requirement in your company, minimum cyber security requirement that we must be having. So for that, what you can do, you can download any NIST framework, right? And whatever written in the NIST framework, you can implement in your company. You can have those things in your company. Like let's say, for example, NIST, they have mentioned that the user must be having a minimum password of 8 character or 9 character, whatever written here. So okay, NIST is saying that user must be having eight character password with a special character. Okay, in my company I will also use same policy, right? Now next thing can be if NIST asking you to have some certain kind of let's say for example policy or procedure. Okay, so you will implement those things if that is relevant to your company, because that is generic, right? NIST, ISO, these are generic, but if that is relevant to your company you can implement. Now coming to ISO, if you are not a big fan of NIST, you can go with ISO document, ISO 27001, this information security management system, right? So what you can do, whatever written in the ISO you can implement in your organization, whatever controls ISO have, right? Accordingly, so it's up to you. So if you go for any job, right, any job interview in one second, any job interview, so they must be asking ITGC, right? ITGC or ISO or risk management, right? And I would suggest you start preparing those things, right? You need to prepare ISO and ITGC. Risk management is easy if you have good understanding ISO and ITGC, and accordingly, it's not like if see, one more thing, when you apply for any role, right? When you apply for any role, uh, where is here? Okay. So when you apply for any job, any role, right? See, okay. So they are asking, just check for experience, right? If experience is relevant to you or not, right? So they are asking 6+ years of relevant experience, IT management, right? So that is not relevant, right? But if they have mentioned here like candidate must be having, let's say, 4 years of experience, right? 4 years of experience, total experience, not relevant experience they are asking. So like Pawan, you are having 3 years of experience in IT field, right? Not related to cybersecurity but in IT field, and
Mm.
4 years of experience they are asking, so you can apply. Just 1 or 2 year can negotiate accordingly, right? So you can
Yeah.
apply. And like here you can see they are asking different COVID and NIST, ISO, risk management, audit, operation. So many things are written here, and even I don't know what are all these things, right? Because when we apply for any job, we check for the skills required, right? Desirable qualification. But there is no 100%, right? No one is perfect. Even I when I applied whenever I applied for any job, I check if 1, 2, or 3 points are suitable to me or not, right? Because they write so many things, right? They write so many things which are not you can say one person might be having those things, those see, let's say for example 6+years, right? If they have only, they are asking for 3 years of experience, right? They are looking for a person 3 years of experience person, right? And they have so many things have written here like IDGC, audit, and risk management, and online Ghana. So it's not it's very difficult to find a person having 3 years of experience and have done all the audits, all the assurance things and all, right? So just check if 2 3 or anything from that particular skills or not. Okay, ITGC, ISO, and risk management. Forget about COVID and IST and all. Apply for that job, right? Study well those things, three things, right? And before interview, just learn about COVID and FFIEC. I know COVID, even I do not know what is FFIEC, what is that thing, right? So just Google that thing, learn about basic thing. Like if somebody asks you what is COVID, so you must be having understand, like you must be having understand to tell like what is COVID, right? Why we need COVID framework, what is COVID, right? So only that understanding is required. You can say I haven't worked on COVID, so I do not have a good understanding on that field, but I know what is actually COVID and what we require. And if I get opportunity, I can work on COVID as well, because I have knowledge in ISO and risk management, right? So accordingly you can apply.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Aman, sorry to interrupt you.
Mhm.
Suppose if you are selected for any role, means will they give the training again for us if you don't know anything?
No, it's not like complete training. Let's say, for example, let's take my example, right? So before, first I started my journey as pen tester, right? But that time I was in college, so it's not like full time job. You can say intensive. Then after that, I was selected as IS auditor, right? So for IS auditor, that was my first job, right? I was not having good industrial experience, real experience. So they provided me some kind of training, right? Training is like somebody is working and you are helping him, right? So such kind of training, some more document. But after that, when I switched, right, I went to risk management, third party risk management profile. That time I am having around 1 years of experience, right? I'm not fresher. So they are expecting you, like you must be having certain knowledge, right? Certain knowledge. So even you do not have that knowledge, it's okay, but right, but if you have that knowledge, certain knowledge, that would be very very useful, because uh, trainings are only for freshers, right? If suppose you already have 6 years of experience, right, and you are applying for a job in cybersecurity domain, right? So for 6 years of experience and you are switching, so that means you will also look for good salary, right? That would be justifiable, right? Because you cannot apply at a fresher position, and for the senior position, senior must be having that much of knowledge, right? So the thing here, will you get any training? No, you will not get training, but yeah, you, if you are selected, and you, why you are selected, because you having that is theoretical knowledge, right, on those things. See, I haven't worked on cloud, right? I haven't worked on cloud part, but I got a job which is also related to cloud security and all. I had theoretical knowledge, right? So whenever we start working somewhere, right, first few, you can say, weeks or month, right, as per the time frame, they will put you with some team. So what's your they will share certain kind of documents, right? You need to review those documents. And like person A is working, right? Somebody is working, so you just shadowing him, right? You will also working, giving your assistance to him. And he is the lead, right? He will be the leading the that work, and you will also helping him, supporting him. And once you become comfortable, you will also work independently, right? So it's not like you will be getting complete training, but yeah, somehow you will be getting some kind of, you can say, documentation, right? It's documentation and some basics things that is required, right? But for fresher must be getting full complete training, right? So, and for the fresher, training time must be like 3 months. And because see, in my company, when now I have joined another company, right, I switched, and my profile, my role is somehow same and somehow different also. And I got one fresher, right, who is with the firm from last three months. He She was selected as an intern. So I am helping him to understand, because he is fresher, he is not having good knowledge in all the controls and all. So I am helping him, right? So whenever I do any work, I call her, right? I call her, and I'll tell her like how we can review, how can I do such thing, right? So for freshers, things become more easier. But if you are a already experienced person, you need to learn yourself, right? They will help you, they will provide you document, right? They will put you in any kind of a real assessment where you can watch, right, listen, watch, and ask your question. But it's not like complete training, like you will get some training course material and all. Understood?
Yes, yes. Somehow we can
Okay.
able to manage it.
Yeah, we need to manage.
Yes.
Even not only cybersecurity, even in all the company, when you switch any company, right? So even you switch for the standard, it's around, let's say, once again, it will be taking around 1 month or 2 months to become comfortable, right? Even in the same process, suppose I am into ITGC audit, let's say, for example, and now I am shifted to another company, right? I have joined another company. So it will take around 1 month for me to become comfortable, because they might be having certain kind of other process, right? They must be following some other document, right? Because that is subjective, right? It's not like each and everything is same, right? They must be following other document, they must be having some other process. So I need to learn, I need to learn those documents, to learn those process, right, accordingly. So but the thing here, you must be having understanding, right? You must be having back-end understanding of cyber security, like what is CI, what a control related knowledge you must be having, right? And the process, they will teach you the process, right? So learn on the control part, like what is let's say for example backup and recovery, right? What are the procedures for backup and recovery? So if you're looking for a job, I would suggest you learn the control, right? Not the process part. What is let's say encryption, right? How we can maintain encryption, how we can if suppose if we do not have encryption, what can go wrong, right? So bring such kind of questions in your brain, right? So you become more comfortable with the control. So when you got any job, right, even in the interview they will ask such questions only, like what is that particular, let's say for example, what is encryption, right? What is encryption, what is symmetric encryption, what is asymmetric encryption? Suppose if we are using symmetric encryption, what things we need to take care. So let's just learn those control related things, right? Learn about controls process. They will teach you all the process, not to worry, right? So we have completed Itgc as well. Now let's go to one second, ISO, है ना? One second. Okay, this is ISO. Oh, this is privacy ISO. One second, another ISO. I need to check if I have. Mm, I think I do not have ISO document. I need to check. Okay, so we have covered ISO 27001, right? Now let's talk about the implement. One second. Yeah. Can you hear me? My voice is clear? Connection problem तो नहीं है ना?
It is not clear.
Okay. Now it's clear.
Yes.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
voice
Great.
is clear.
Yeah. Hello. Now.
Yes, now it was okay.
Okay. Great. So coming to the ISO part. So we have covered what is ISO in the beginning of our training part. So today we will cover how we can implement or audit ISO, right? So ISO is simple information security management system, right? Suppose why any company go for any ISO document. Have we covered that part previously? Why we need ISO? Yes or no? Have we covered why we need ISO 27001?
There was some introduction regarding ISO, but not complete.
Okay. So coming to yeah, so ISO is just, you can say, organization which provides different kind of documents, right? So we are more interested for ISO 27000, which is information security management system, right? So one second here. So ISMS, this document is related to ISMS, information security management system, right? So if you go to that particular website, right, for this is not freely available, but yeah, you can download or I'll share you, not to worry. But yeah, you can also buy if you're interested. And this is complete document, right? So why we require ISO just suppose if you are a company which also having some kind of technical part in your company, let's say for example any company, right? Nowadays all the companies having technical functions, right? Even if you are working in construction field, even if you are working in let's say that engineering field, right? If you are a car manufacturer, you must be having some kind of IT operations, right? And for IT operation you must be having IT related information, IT data sets, right? Data element for the security of information, right? For the information management, we need a certain kind of proper structured you can say process, right? So what a company can do, if the company is very having, if the company having good employee, right? Very you can say intelligent employee, they can create their own you can say process, right? They can create their own information management process, right? But that will again require lots of time, because they need to research, they need to create one document, they need to implement, then review and all things. That will gonna take time, right? Otherwise, what they can do, they can just simply follow any other document, right? Any other framework. So for that we have ISO 27001, right? So what I can do, I can hire certain, you can say, auditor, right, or implementer, ISO implementer, and ask them to implement ISO in my organization, right? For implement Before implementation, there are lots of things or process we need to follow, that I'll talk you in another lecture. But yeah, so but for the implementation part, we need certain, you can say, things, right? Certain you can say minimum requirements, right? Let's say for example, uh, one second, yeah, we will cover those requirements soon. Yeah. Implementation. Now, things here first, we need ISO for our information security management, right? Another can be, yeah, and for the information security management, we can also follow another document, right? We can create our own document, but if we create our own document, it will take time, right? It will take manpower, it will ask more time, more manpower, right? So it's not feasible or justifiable, right? So it's better to go for any available option which are available in the market, right? Let's say for example, you need a fan, right? Ceiling fan, right? And what you can do, you can go to market, you can buy new fan, right? But suppose I'm good in electronics, right? I am good in engineering, so what I can do, I can design my own fan, right? I can build my own fan, right? But it will take time, right? It will take time, I need to work hard, right? But at the end, I will be having a fan which is not good as the fan available in the market, right? Which is not good as that particular fan which are available in the market. And for that I have spent so much time, money, my valuable time, money, hard work, and end product is also not good, because I am not the regular, you can say, regular person who is working in the fan manufacturer industry, right? So for that, better to go for the option which are available in the market. Another thing which are which company, uh, why company go for ISO document is like, this is universal accepted, right? Suppose my company is ISO certified, right? And if I want business with other company, right? Let's say for example Dubai, right? I want to expand my company to Dubai, right? So for the Dubai region, suppose if there are another company, right, or another client, they will check how I am capable, right, in maintaining security and everything. Suppose I am providing certain kind of services to the banks, right? In India I am doing very good business, right? Now I am shifting to India, because why I am doing very good business in India, because I have good links, right? I know that mantri, I know that politician, and because of that I got all the tenders, right? But now I need to expand my business, I need to do my business with Dubai authority, right? Dubai. So for that, if I pitch my business to any Dubai banks, right, Dubai's bank, so they will check if I'm capable of handling those valuable information or not, right? So for that, they will check, okay, if I'm certified or not, right? ISO certified or any other cybersecurity certification my company holds or not, right? So this is universal accepted. If I'm ISO certified, that means yeah, I'm having those much of control. Somebody from third party, right? Somebody came from third party and they audited my company, and accordingly they they have given that certificate for trust, right? Now, that's the two reasons why we require ISO document. Now coming to the ISO framework, right? ISO document. So see, these are complete document, right? So what you can do, you can just go to the document and you can see scope, normative reference, right? These are different things. So when you start implementing ISO document, right, for that you need to have all the things which are mentioned in the ISO document, right? So first, company what they do not directly go for ISO certification. First they will ask their internal employee, right? They will ask their employee to prepare themselves for the ISO audit, right? So they will work, right? They will study the ISO document, and whatever the ISO requirement, they will implement, right? Suppose ISO is asking for any particular document, right? Let's say risk management process document that we do not follow. So first, our company will create one risk management process and document. Okay. So readiness, we call it readiness, right? First we readiness from our end, right? then we will hire any third party for just checking part, right? So we will hire some other party. We will also check if we are prepared or not, right? And let's say for example, one second. Let's say for example we are at A, right? We need to reach out at, let's say, C, right? At C. So we worked hard and we somehow we reached to B, right? We got all the requirement completed. Now we will hire some third party, right? Third party auditor. They will check if we are prepared, right? In our eyes, right? We understand like, okay, I have everything. Now I reached at C, right? But in actual I might be at the B's place, right? I am not have reached at C's position, right? I might be at the B place, right? So the third person will check, right? And he will tell us, okay, you have all the things, but yeah, you that document, you do not have that process, you do not have that thing. Do not worry, I'll help you, right? So he will also find out the, you can say, gaps, right? We call it gaps. He will find out the gaps, and he will also help us to fill that gaps, right? He will also help us to fill that gaps, right? So that is implementer, right? So implementer will fill all the gaps here, and he will provide all the things, right, which are the requirement, right? Requirement means just understand the, let's say, checklist, right? So for the ISO certification, my company must be having these things, right? These checklists must be properly followed in my company. So okay, we got everything. My implementer also help. Now we will hire third party company, right? We will hire auditor, BSI, very good ISO certificate provider. So they will come to our company. That is third party audit, right? Why we require third party audit? Because I'm the implementer. I did implementation part. I'm working in my company, and also I'm doing audit. That's not justifiable, na. But I'll not I will not bring out the problems or mistakes which I did, right? So that's why we hire once any third party, right? We hire third party auditor who is neutral, right? Who is neutral, who will be not like in most of the, you can say, in most of in India, like you have heard many cases like where people require like police se nahi sambhal raha hai, so we need CBI, right? We need CBI, we need some other agency to work on those cases, right? Because police mili hui hai killer se, or police mili hui hai politician se, so we require another you can say authority, right? Like CBI. So similarly, we need third party auditor, right? Because the third party auditor is neutral. If he find any problem, he will project that problem, right? If somebody at the company or that implementer, he will find the problem because they worked on the implementation part on the company level. So they will hire third party auditor and they will audit. The person will audit, right, against the requirement. He will check if the all the requirements are fulfilled, and accordingly if he finds any problem, he will raise NC means non conformity, right? So you will get some time to remediate those problem. And after remediation, you can also tell them, okay, we have resolved those problem, or suppose we do not have risk management document, right? So the auditor will file one NC, one document, right? In that document it's written that the company is not having risk management document all. So we will get some time, we will create that document and we will share those document to the auditor. Auditor will check, and if he is satisfied, then he will clear that NC, and accordingly at the end you will be ISO certified. Your company will be ISO certified. Though, so that's the normal process, right? So for the implementation, starting from the first of very first, we need to find out the scope where we want to implement our ISO documents, right? Sorry, ISO standard. Let's say for example, my company also located at Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, Mumbai, and also in foreign region, right? Even in my company, there are multiple operations. Let's say for example, Google, right? Google having different sub companies like Gmail, right? YouTube and Google Contact, different companies, sub companies are there, right? So very first we need to find out the scope. Scope can be a place specific. Let's say for example, at Hyderabad office I need to implement ISO. At Mumbai office I need to implement ISO, right? Scope can be technology or domain or department specific. Let's say for example, Google example. Let's say Google wants to implement ISO for their YouTube, right? Not the complete company, for YouTube only, right? Or they want to implement ISO for Gmail only or Drive only, right? So it can be domain specific, or it can be a location specific, right? So that is scope. Now coming to terms. These are simple terms. Context of the organization, right? This is not working. Okay, I think only what is written here. Okay. Okay, we need to purchase. Don't worry, I'll share. I have, but I need to search. Right now, I'm not getting. But yeah, I'll tell. Now, coming to the context of the organization. Context means organization, what are the structure and formation of the organization that will come under the context, right? Understanding the organization, understanding needs, right? Needs and expectation of interested party, right? What are interested party? Interested parties can be your stakeholders, right? Interested parties can be your investor, right? Your users, right? If you are providing any services, right? So the customers can be your interested party, right? Interested parties are those which have a certain kind of connection with your business, right? If anything happened to your business, they might have they might have problem, or they might be interested if you are doing anything. So those are interested party. So first we need to find out the interested party, what all are interested party, right? How to communicate them, and what are the expectations, what they want, right? Our investor, what they want, what are the you can say uh, what are the thinkings of our investor, what they want. So that will be covered in the interested party. That is very very wide, so I am just telling you just a high level, because that is, again, if you go for ISO documents, ISO training, right? So this training is on is if you study ISO, right? Normal time is 8 or 9 hours, right? Of 5 days, right? If you go for any ISO certification training, so you need to sit for 8 hours per day for 5 days, right? Then also you will not be able to complete each and everything. Instructor will tell you the only important things that is required, right? Most of the thing you will learn while working. So I am not going in deep, just telling you upper upper. Then determine the scope or information security scope, like information security management system, like what are the scope, what things we want to cover for which office, right? All the scope. Then leadership means the person who is sitting as authority, because they are more responsible, because we need resources. If we implement ISO thing, we need resources, right? Suppose we are implementing ISO, we need some antiviruses, right? For control, we need certain kind of security solutions. So for buying those things, we need that we need a confirmation from management, we need help and support from management, right? Because at my level I can find out the problem, I can work on those problem, but for the budgeting issue, right? For the budgeting part, for the approval of each and approval, I need support from leadership, right? On not only support, I need their active participation. Why? Because see, suppose I want one firewall, right? I want firewall in my company. I raised one request. They said, okay, we will provide a firewall, but they are not working on that thing. And after 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 5 month, I am not getting my firewall for my company, for my services, right? So again, it's very important that they are actively participating, because ISO things is should be done within a month or 2 month, 3 month, right? Then also we need skilled person for ISO implementation. We need a skilled person in our organization, because all person do not have ISO knowledge. So we need to hire more people, right? So for that, leadership will help us, right? And also organization roles, responsibility and authorities. That means in our company there must be different people, right? And all the people having certain kind of work process flow, right? So they must be having their objective clear in their mind, right? How we are responsible for security. Let's say, for example, a person working in a hiring team, HR team, right? So they have lots of data of new employees, right? Of the person he is taking interview. So he is responsible of not sharing those information with some other people, right? So for that, he should be having that thing in normal you can say ethics, like I should not share the things with others, right? Security objective planning, right? Responsibility, what are my responsibility, what are my roles and everything, right? So I must be having those information. Then support, right? Support resource, competence, awareness, communication. So these things we require operation, right? information security, risk assessment. For ISO 27000, we need risk management process. I'll cover ISO thing at the end of training, because this is very, very important. I'll take 2 days to complete that thing, but for high level, I'll tell you. Performance evaluation, right? So after monitoring, right? Sorry, after implementing ISO, we need a monitoring part, right? If whatever we controls we implemented, we need to review if the controls are working effectively or not. And also, suppose today I am using technology ABC, and after few days I will be shifted to another technology, right? So might be possible my controls are not aligned with new technology, so monitoring must be there, right? Improvement, non-conformity, corrective actions, right? Whatever is findings in the ISO audit, so we must be having some kind of corrective measurement and actions related to that thing, right? Then continual improvement, that means continual improvement every year, right? Every year we need to improve, and we are changing our technology, we are moving from one technology to another technology, so continual improvement is very, very required. And if company go for ISO certification, so the validity is 3 year, right? 3 years I have certification validity. So after every 3 year you need to go for complete cycle for ISO certification, right? ISO audit. And every year you can go for a surveillance audit kind of thing, right? So which is not deeper as the first audit, but yeah, just for because in a cybersecurity, if we want to deal with any company, we require them to have independent audit done within last 12 months, right? So suppose if when any company went for ISO audit in 2019, right? 2019, and in 20, let's say 21, right? 2021, they are working with some other company, so company will ask you any independent audit record which tells you that yeah, you have effective controls in place, so they can share ISO document which is still valid, because the certification validity is 3 year. But in most of the cases we ask for 1 year validation, right? In last 1 year, because see, 3 साल पहले जो हुआ, whatever happened in 3 years ago, right, may not be the same today, because that time technology is different, cases are different. Now we have new technology, so there must be a process for every year audit, right? So also for that we have yearly audit in ISO, which is kind of surveillance audit, which is not deeper audit, but yeah, for just auditing part, auditor will come and will check all the controls and everything is working or not, if any changes has happened or not, right? So accordingly we will create a one report. Now for that part, let me show you one report. One second. Not report, but yeah, checklist. Again, I'll share that checklist, right? So there are 114 controls, right? In ISO document, I do not have access to ISO document, but I'll find and will tell you. So we have total 114 controls, right? 114 controls, 114 controls, which should be implemented in our in our company, right? Controls means security controls, right? Controls means security, you can say controls. So those controls will be implemented in our company. So, and also one thing, when there is a SOA report, right, a statement of applicability, so there are 114 controls, right? So auditor will check all the 114 controls, if those security controls are implemented in the company or not, right? And suppose if any controls is not relevant to your company, right, so there must be justification, right? All the controls must be must be used in the report. But if any control is not applicable to your company, so there must be justification. Like, let's say for example, we do not outsource, right? We do not outsource our services, so there are some controls related to outsourcing, so we can simply write in the control area here finding, like, we do not outsource, so this is and not applicable for us, right? So these are simple controls, you can say 114. So these are the controls number. If you count all the controls, right, these one control policies and information security review of policy, right, segregation of duty, right, mobile device policy, terms and condition screening, right, these are controls, right? These are controls. Management of removal media, disposal of media, handling of assets, right? These are controls. And how we can check or implement, right? How we can check? So we can check, is there a documented access control policy, right? So I'm auditor, I'll check for that particular control. What I can check, I can check if the company having any documented access control policy. Okay, they have policy, good. And if the policy is based on the business requirement, Okay, we need to check also if the policy aligned with the business or not, right? If the policy communicated appropriately, right? Suppose if their policy and if they haven't communicated those policies to their employee, right? I am having my policy, right? But I haven't shared that policy to anyone, so how they will come to know, right? So there must be proper communication must be there, right? So now take review of user access, right? How to review user access, right? So is there a process for asset owner to review access right to their asset on the regular basis, right? How we can review user access right? There must be certain kind of process, right? If the review process is verified, process is not justifiable, right? It must be verified, right? If the process is correct or not, whatever findings we are getting after review is verified or not, right? So these are certain, you can say, a checklist or points which you must use while audit. So if you go for ISO audit, ask me, I'll share that report, right? So I'll anyway I'm going to share that report also. So these are 114 control. Once I have access to the ISO document, I'll share how to use these controls, right? These are controls, and this is how you can check these controls, right? Any questions so far? No. We will cover ISO tomorrow because today I do not have access. So it's, I know it's difficult to understand, but yeah, just for understanding. So these are controls, right? So for auditor will check if the controls are implemented in the company or not, right? Also with that control, there are certain mandatory documents, right? Certain mandatory documents. So these are again checklist for mandatory document or clauses, right? So clauses means these are clauses, right? So let's say for example for 8, right? 8.1, 8.1, under 8.1 there are sub clauses, right? So certain things which are mandatory, like in organization they must be having that point, right? They must be following that point, right? So for that we have a mandatory checklist, right? So for 4.1, understand the organization context, right? So for that there must be some kind of document the company will share, right? Let coming to leadership, right? So for that, for 5.1, right, this is mandatory. So ensuring information security policy and the information security objectives are established and are compatible with the strategic direction, right? So this is one thing available in the document, ISO frame document. So we need to check if because this is mandatory, right? These are mandatory points, right? Mandatory, you can say, clauses. So for that we need to check in the company also if they are having any document supporting to these mandatory clauses or not, if they are following or not, right? After the mandatory, these are all mandatory thing we need to check for the checklist, right? The checklist which I have just shown you, ISMS audit checklist. So again, 114 control, we need to check 114 control. Any questions so far?
No, no questions.
Yeah, okay. So we will cover also ISO tomorrow. Once I have access, I need to find out the ISO document. Any question related to ITGC or ISO? Have you understood what is ISO 27001? How we can implement ISO?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, yeah,
Sir, can you teach incident response? I have interview
yeah.
on Monday.
Okay, so tomorrow हम इंसिडेंट रिस्पॉन्स भी करते हैं, ये भी करते हैं. ओके.
Okay, sir.
या ओके. इसमें ज़्यादा नहीं है बिकॉज आई हैव कवर्ड मोस्ट ऑफ द पार्ट. तो इंसिडेंट रिस्पॉन्स भी अपन देख लेते हैं कल. ओके,
हाँ sir.
चलो फिर. ओके, सो सी यू टुमारो. ओके, एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
Hello.
Yeah, sorry.
Like I'm having one job description like summary. Just can we have a discussion only for 2 minutes on that? Shall I share you?
Yeah, sure.
1 minute, I will share you on chat.
Okay.
Please, can you check once?
Yeah, 1 second.
Almost we have covered 75% of this thing.
Yeah, 1 second. This thing, job description. Okay, job profile, information security analyst 2. Okay, Bangalore, right? Job description summary, support security policies, ISMS we have covered, right? Practices, best practice, cybersecurity practices, procedures, technologies in order to ensure the protection of network security, system, application data. So we have covered these things. Remember, ITGC and ISO. We have
Yes.
checklists, right? Like how to secure our network, how to secure our applications. For that we have controls, right? And
Yes.
the role will be looked as to information security expert within organization, helping ensure corporate security controls, right? Corporate security controls, right? For controls, we have seen ITGC, ISO, right? And again, the role was also involved day-to-day security operations by responding to event of interest and recommend corrective actions, right? Corrective actions mean whatever things they are having, suppose there are certain controls which are not sufficient, right? So you need to advise them, like, let's say for example, if first password, coming to password again, if they are using password which are less than 8 characters, so you can suggest them, like, you need to use 8 character minimum with characters, special characters and all, right? These are corrective actions, right? You can also apply working with IT and non-IT team members, right? IT team members, though, okay, but why non-IT team members? Because see, we are cybersecurity auditors, right? We need to audit different department. We need to check for different department in GRC, in the audit field. Some are not from technical background, right? But they are holding data, important data, information security, right? So we need to audit them, and they might not have understanding related to technical terms, right? So we need to use such language that they must be comfortable, right? So that's why they mention such kind of things. Work with non-IT team members, right? And yes, responsibility again, perform event and incident response through log collection, right? So this thing is different, right? And this thing is different. This is log correlation reviews, right? So this is related to SOC team, right? SOC team, IDS, IPS alert, firewall alert, right? So in SOC team, you have different kind of same tools, right? Security incident management tools and all. So that are proprietary tools. So I cannot show you how you can work on those tools. But yeah, so for if suppose if you are looking for a job in that field, right? And if you do not have any experience in working on those field, what you can do, you can understand what is IDS, IPS, right? What are IDS, IPS alert, right? What is correlation, right? How we can review what is log collection, right? Application firewall, what is application firewall, right? So you need to understand ROG for wireless network. What is ROG or wireless network, right? Which is again, suppose in your company you have a wireless, let's say for example cyber, right? The name of the wireless connection is cyber, but somebody came into your company and he just created another wireless access point again with the name of cyber. If somebody, suppose you are using company laptop and if you want to connect through wi-fi, right? So you will see, okay, cyber, so might be possible you will connect to fake access point, right? That is rogue wireless network. So this thing is related to some technical operation, and this thing is related to GRC role, right? And PCI, I will also share PCI sample, right? We have covered that thing, so I'll share PCS. SOX, for SOX I do not have any sample because I haven't worked on SOX. But yeah, for SOX is also just same, it's related to financial organization audit and all. So I'll share document, I at the end of session or even before end of the session, I have document for SOX also, because see, they are different compliance document, they are different framework which we cannot cover, right? But I have document, I'll share. GDPR I will cover GDPR as well. And yeah, regulatory requirement, 5% participant, vulnerability management, different thing, right? So in this particular profile, both are same or different? I think both are different, right?
Both are same
It,
actually.
Both are same
it
because
contains everything, right?
yeah, if
All the
all
components
the
in
domains.
cybersecurity.
Yeah, so all the component also, they are asking for security analyst, right? Which is not, you can say, very expert level job. And PKI, SSL, whatever we have covered, see, having all the things like encryption, decryption, right? SSL, PKI, right? Certification authority, right? So it's not like you need to cover each and everything. If you are comfortable with 5%, 10%, you can apply, right? And for the rest of the thing, you must be having like a normal understanding. If somebody asks you what is PKI, right? So we have covered PKI also, but I know that's difficult to understand and learn going through one lecture. So for that, I'll also share a document as well, and by then you can also search. But yeah, for for touching the part, right? For such touching that cybersecurity concept, we just covered and touched those concepts. So you must having certain information related to those domain. So yeah, you can also work. This particular profile contains all each and everything. They also looking for vulnerability. And see, if you go for any job profile now, That is different. Vulnerability management is different thing. GRC different thing, and they are asking for a person who will be responsible for each and everything. That means the company is not too big because they cannot hire different people, right?
For CSG Bangalore.
PhD. I don't
Yes.
know what is come, but yeah, you can apply. Even you have knowledge in for 50%, you can apply because they see in over the internet they write so many things, so it's not justifiable, right? Interview they will ask only few things. They need to hire more people because they will not hire a one person who is working in GRC domain like these thing policy and all audit. They might have knowledge in these domain, pen testing and all, but the person working in pen testing like vulnerability management and all, I am working here but I am having knowledge on these domain pen testing and all because I worked on pen testing. But the person who is working in pen testing and vulnerability assessment, they will not have knowledge in GRC because see, if somebody is working in pen testing for more than 2 year 3 year, he will be working in pen testing or vulnerability assessment for his complete lifetime, right? Because he don't want to go in auditing and policy making and all these things. This is more technical part, right? You need to work on tools and all things. So it's again depends again upon on your interest, right? I'm interested in meetings. I'm interested in making reports and telling reports to the stakeholders. So I have joined GRC domain, audit and compliance. And if somebody interested in just sitting at his place, right, open one console and just monitor and just use that tool, no meeting, no follow up with customer, no any interaction, just back end thing, so they can go for vulnerability assessment and these kind of thing. Yeah, so you can also apply and see whatever we have covered so far, so most of the things we have also touched, right?
Okay, so I'm having like technical skills on Nmap, Nessus, Metasploit, Wireshark,
Yeah,
Worksource. So I can apply for
yeah,
this.
yeah, you can apply. You are having technical skills, that's good. And we have also covered that policy making, ISO and all these things, right?
Yes, yes. Policies, yeah.
ISMS controls and all. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, policies and all ISO. So you can apply. If somebody asks you what is ITGC and ISO, you can tell them easily.
Okay. If you
Yeah,
have any, like, can you share some notes material for that? Like what you have explained now, right? ITGC controls and
yeah. I'll control. I'll share those documents also. Every document. Today I'll share each and every document by night or tomorrow. I'll share each and every document whatever I have. Okay.
right.
Aman, in this profile, if
Yeah.
we understand like basic, so what is IDS, what is
Yeah.
IDS, and
Yeah.
these things
Yeah.
just like right?
Yep.
Firewall
Yeah.
alerts, what are the malware alerts? If you know
Mhm.
basic stuff, like what is the meaning of that heading, can we
Yeah.
go into
Yeah,
like
you can go into even. I'll
interview?
share. I forgot to share my resume. I have mentioned in my resume IDS, IPS, firewall. See, basics. You have covered basic thing, right? Next step is before interview, right? Just check job profiles. This job profile they are asking for multi talented person, right? So they may
Hmm.
ask a technical question, auditing questions, risk management, everything they can ask, right? But before interview, you can check what's their profile, right? If they are asking for, let's say, network security, so they may ask about firewalls, right? So just prepare about firewalls more in deeper than the that compliance part, right? That legal requirements, prepare those technical part. And like, let's say for an IDS, IPS, right? And DLP, we have also covered DLP. And if they are asking for DLP, so just understand what is DLP and how it's working. Just deep dive into DLP, right? And check few more things, like let's say for example how DLP works, right? What are policy making in DLP, how we can set rules in DLP, right? How DLP works. It's not necessary you have worked on DLP, but you must be comfortable in telling them like how DLP operates, how what are the component of DLP. Understand component. If for any security solution, just search for component. What are the components of DLP, what are the components of IDS, IPS and DAM and all, because they may ask the components. Okay, I'll share documents also. Yeah.
सर इंसिडेंट रिस्पॉन्स की प्रोफाइल के लिए करता है तो
Incident response also they will ask DLP, firewalls, right? OWASP top 10, that top 10 vulnerability, DLP, firewall, DAM, right? and all the security solutions. SIM, SIM is very important. They will ask SIM, and yeah, prepare those things. And they can ask you the incident response structure, like how any company can implement incident response thing in their environment. So there is a process for incident management, incident response. So but yeah, for incident, see, incident management is a process, right? In that process we have different things, right? We need to first find out the incident, right? We need to escalate and everything. And for finding the incident, we must be having good understanding on the security solutions, right? So first understand the security solutions. So learn DLP, DAM, firewalls, right? They will ask you firewalls, what is firewall, what is DLP, DAM, SIM solution, QRadar. So first prepare those things. Okay. And if you have any JD in a job description, share with me, so I'll also check and let you know. Oh,
Yes, sir.
okay.